If you are killing my cousin, don't you think I'm gonna be in pain? Don't you think I'm gonna be angry? I'm gonna be mad?
What's going on, guys? I'm Skreethost, and I'm attending the largest Palestine protest in Texas history.
If you break something, you fix it.
What is the main need for the group of people here? What are they crying for? What are they clamoring for?
Our primary need is a ceasefire now. We want a ceasefire to happen, and we want humanitarian aid to be able to enter Gaza, and we want the United States to divest from the genocide in Gaza of the Palestinian people. Mainstream Western media tends to focus on Hamas because it takes away attention from what's actually going on. I think that Hamas in that way is a distractor from what the media should be focusing on, which is Palestinian liberation and the fact that the Israeli occupation forces have been oppressing Palestinians for over 100 years.
How do you feel as someone who is Palestinian and also American, knowing that the American government is funding Israel to help fight the terrorists?
Well, in my opinion, this is totally wrong. If you are see the kids and it's any human beings, you are killing for no reason. They have no any kind of issue. The kids and the women and the men who are not involved in any war, anything, they are peacefully living. And some people, the powerful countries like United States, and they're funding them and they're giving them munitions to kill the peoples. That's a genocide.
But in Israel's defense, they're saying that, hey, we're not trying to fight the everyday people, we're trying to fight the terrorists. That is Hamas.
The terrorists is not in the Gaza. Everybody is not terrorists.
Do you think Hamas though is a terrorist group?
They are a group of people who are fighting against their own lands. This Palestine.
Not a terrorist.
No, this is not a terrorist. They just blame them.
Well, what's your goal for this?
To spread awareness.
Awareness of what?
That Palestine is being oppressed and occupied unfairly. Pure Americans, they're very blinded. They don't know anything about the matter, but they just hop in because America.
Do you know anybody who was personally affected by the war, though?
Not deeply, but I know a lady. I went to a shop. She owns a shop, and she was talking about how there was kids who got burned in a house there, and I have a friend who's also is there, and they're like, they see a lot of kids being burned, not by just the Israelis, but also by some extremists like Jews and Zionists.
Says resistance is not terrorism, because what Gazans and Palestinians are doing, they're just resisting the Israeli occupation. They're not technically terrorists. They're just fighting back for their land.
Hamas is not a terrorist group.
I don't really want to talk about Hamas or being a terrorist group. I just talk about Israel has been occupying Palestine for 75 years. So what's happening now is not terrorism. It's resistance to the occupation.
What do we want? What do we want? And if we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it,
Yes. Do you think there can ever be any resolution to this?
Absolutely.
Middle ground?
I don't know about a middle ground, but I absolutely think that the liberation of Palestinian people is possible and will happen within our lifetime with movements like this. I mean, the Palestinian people are the indigenous people of Palestine. The Israeli occupation forces have been colonizing them for over 100 years, so freedom is the goal.
What aggravates you the most?
What aggravates me the most is the killing of civilians and kids, man. A lot of people has been dying. Now there's over 5,000 people that has died in Gaza. Around 11,000 people that have died, 5,000 are kids. What I really question is the silence in the world. How can all this happen and we're just silent? We're not doing any actions. So people say that Hamas started everything, right? And October 7th. We're not going back 75 years ago. We're not going back to 1948. That's when it really started. And then there's a little thing that people doesn't know actually. Hamas was created by Israel.
You see, this is your house, and somebody come from outside, and they just take the land, your house and land, and then when turn around on the media, you say, oh, these are terrorists. They are fighting back against us. And you blame them, they are terrorists. This is not terrorists like that. You are protecting your own land, Palestine, and the Israel is a different state. Both are, there was no any Israel before.
Hamas was created by Israel so the Palestinian can have a government. But people don't know that. They say, oh, Hamas are terrorists. Define terrorists though. If people want to call Hamas a terrorist group, then I would call the resistance movement in Netherlands in 1932 a terrorist group too, because they were defending people, defending their own country. It was a Netherlands resistance movement. If you want to call Hamas terrorists, then those people are terrorists as well, but nobody calls them terrorists because they're heroes.
Do you think there can never be an agreement
I
between?
don't think so. It's going to be any peace like that, unless the world is the superpower countries. They get involved and they make this view. Okay, they already got the Tel Aviv and all that area is settled down for the Israeli peoples, Jewish peoples. They can leave their side, and they make the separate for the Palestinian peoples. And then they see who is a terrorist, who is not. They have all the money, they have all ammunition, all the powers, and media control, and they are trying to kill up innocent people.
Stop the killing. Stop the killing. Look, I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of people that wants Palestine back. They want Palestine back, man. A lot of people since 1948, it's generation on generations. When you are killing a Palestinian, you're creating 4 or 5 Hamas people. The reason why is, if you are killing my cousin, don't you think I'm gonna be in pain? Don't you think I'm gonna be angry? I'm gonna be mad? You're creating the whole family now I wouldn't call it revenge, but they want justice. Because what's happening to everybody that's dying is not fair. It's not fair. And Israel are bombing hospitals, bombing civilians, people, bombing schools, and they're saying that, oh, Hamas are in there. And it is not, man. It is not. I'm not there to tell you if they're there or not. They claim that Hamas were inside the ambulance, but they weren't. People actually took videos of the ambulance when there was people actually injured in there.
Palestine will be free. I decided to come here. I'm from Houston. I decided to come here because I feel like there's a point where things get ridiculous, and it's there.
You have it from your cell phone. If you break something, even we teach it for our kids. If you break something, you fix it. And then, I don't remember the exact statistic, but they said I think 26% of Gaza building has been destroyed by bombs made by the US and dropped by the Israeli army. These houses, the majority are for civilians. They have no proof that it's for Hamas or the terrorist organization. They have kids, children, women, elderlies. They have been bombed and evacuated from these homes. Who would fix it for them?
So I've been seeing posters around saying Zionism is racism. Do you believe that?
Yes, sure, of course.
Can you tell us how that is?
Zionism is all about the Jewish people ruling one piece of land. It's just that discrimination of any other religion or race or ethnicity. That's why it is racism. Otherwise, Palestinians and Jewish people lived on the same land for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, and there was nothing, no problems. My grandmother, her neighbor was Jewish. They used to babysit each other's kids. That's what she told me. And when the creation of this state, which is Israel state, okay, now that's where the racism started, and the apartheid started.
They're like killing numerously. It shouldn't be happen like this, right? Where is the humanity? The Western people, they're talking about humanity. Where is this humanity now?
Do you believe Israel is playing a part of humanity by telling people to evacuate the city?
Okay. Palestinian Muslim, they are all way the end. They don't have any place to go, anywhere to go. They're telling them to go out. Where are they going to go? What do you think? Where are they going to go? This is their land. They took it over already. Why they're doing it?
I have friends that are Jewish. I have a business partner that is Jewish. So it's not about Jewish, it's not about religion, it's not about race. Zionism came from the West. They're basically Ashkenazis, Jewish, came from Europe. They're all white race. And you know what white race is. So I'm not against white people either, but when it comes white supremacists, I have problem with. Give the Palestinian people their human rights. Do not go to their homes, get them out of their homes, and give it to some settler from the West. Even Jewish people, the Middle Eastern Jewish people, are discriminated against in Israel. Eastern Jewish are not equal to Western Jews.
People of Israel who think that their country is under attack by Hamas, they're basically in fear that they're gonna destroy their land and their people.
Let me ask you a question. If you try to put a little cat in a corner, if you corner a little cat, and what's gonna do to you? It's gonna scratch you. You have to be fair to the people. If you give both sides equal rights, I don't think you will see what happened from Hamas.
Tell me about this right here. So basically this is talking about children that weren't even born yet. They haven't come out of the womb yet. And basically the mother and the children both dead because of bombs. And children don't even get their birth certificate yet because they haven't come out, right? But they're both dead. They're just dead.
The main thing that's making me come is just I'm motivated because of my religion. I'm motivated for my brothers and sisters. You know, it's my responsibility as a Muslim man, as an Arab man, to be here.
One thing I've been seeing a lot, other people, you know, on the other side telling me is that Israel is a peaceful country. Do you believe that?
Anyone who says that, they're not serious. They're just not serious. It's a joke.
It's time for the United States of America to formulate a rational foreign policy, not only with regard to the Middle East, but with foreign policy in general. We need to stop getting deeper and deeper in debt to create wars and problems around the world, to create problems for the United States, to create enemies for the United States. We need to start investing in peace. We need to start investing in our country, in our people.
You know, it makes no sense to me to cut off their water supply, foods.
Are you American?
Palestinian, Jew, Jewish ethnicity-wise, but I'm a Palestinian nationality-wise, and I'm a Muslim.
I'm sure you must be torn internally.
Yeah, I think that, you know, Zionists are the sole reason of this. Is like it's very like people think this is a war between Jews and Muslims, but it's really a war just between the people of like Palestine and Zionists. And I think a lot of Americans are also Zionists, which is the reason why we do protests, just to speak up on this.
People have been accusing, you know, Hamas of kidnapping Israeli kids and families and all of that, even Americans as well. Do you think those sort of things happen? Because I know people are speaking against it, saying that, hey, that never happened. The kids that they said they killed were never killed.
I mean, it's CNN came and they said, like, the Palestinian beheaded 40 children. And it's all proved that it was a lie. And they said that it was a lie. What beheaded the children is the Palestinian children. So all what you hear in the media, it's influences by AIPAC, which is paid all those politicians.
All right, guys, that's the end of this episode. I appreciate you watching. So the purpose of this episode is to hear from the Palestinians. So guys, I hope you see and I hope you hear them. Let's educate ourselves and be aware of what's happening. Much love, and I'll see you next week. How can we shift our attention from the so-called terrorist group into the humanitarian parts that we need to be seeing, because people are dying?
I think just keep doing our part in spreading the word, whether it's in social media, whether it's protests, whether it's calling our politicians, donating.
Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea.